Oh yeah, oh yeah. It's a cesspool full of lies. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Y'all know I'm still recovering, so I can't talk too much. My voice is not 100% back, and I've been told to get up off of it a little bit. But these stories, I just couldn't help, and I could not pass up because they are so true. And I'm gonna have to admit it, especially being from a person that has um, been indoctrinated with a lot of religion. I'm gonna have to tell it. I can speak on it now because I feel like there has been a deliverance, and I'm starting to realize, and I'm starting to really, really believe that evangelicals, people who are associated real, real deep and rooted in the church, um, and I didn't just come to this conclusion. Let me get that straight. Um, I've known for a while now that they are some of the biggest freaks that you have ever came across, and they hide behind religion. They hide behind I'm better than you because I don't do that and you do, and you're going to hell. And in a way, it's kind of sad because they have all of this built up, pent up sexual expression that they can't express the way they want to express it. Um, and I think that is something that needs to be examined. And especially when I was just looking at, thinking about how fast Marvin Sapp lied. I mean, I couldn't believe it. It's like this is about the size of most religious people, and I don't mean to be funny. I'm being dead ass. Most of them are so diabolical in their mindset that they spew lies what and as if they're true, and they think that they are under some anointed power that allows them to just say what comes to their mind because they are almost like God chosen one. Kind of like how Donald Trump thinks about himself. And this is supreme narcissism. I mean, for real. But my girls again, uh, Jennifer and what is it, Laura from I've Had It, and I don't know if y'all have had to experience of watching that just yet, but it is one of the most mature, uh, funny, informative podcasts that's out there. That's with women, and sometimes I don't just get my stuff from one source, um, and I'm open in my thoughts. So if you speak in truth, I can relate to it. Okay? So I want y'all to take a listen to this. And this is about Mike Johnson because I've always felt this way about him. And now that it seems allegedly that he's been caught on Grinder, y'all already know what time it is. Let's go.
Of the House, Mike Johnson. He is freakier than Nancy Mace, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and all of the other Trump sycophants combined. And there is a rumor, and I just want to state that there is a rumor, but I think we have to address it on TikTok right now that Moses Mike Johnson is dipping his toes in Grinder. Kylie, put up the first slide. So apparently he is messaging with somebody who's in Washington, D.C. He says, "What luxurious hair you have." And the person on Grindr says, "Thank you. I would return the favor in giving you a compliment, but I don't know what you look like." And then allegedly, Moses Mike Johnson says, "Are you in town for a couple of days visiting D.C.?" And the Grinder person says, "Yes, I am. Are you offering me a tour?" And allegedly, remember, you guys, this is all rumor. I can give you one. I have a few contacts. We can go to the Dabney for dinner and then back to my place, and I can blow your brains out while pulling on that luxurious hair. Now, again, I just want to say this is a rumor on TikTok, but I feel like it needs to be addressed. And then the guy on Grindr says, "Oh, straightforward, I see, LOL, especially from a man who won't show his face." And then this man says, "Very discreet here, married with a few kids, not trying to mess up my situation." Go to the next slide. And then it says, "What time should I pick you up from your hotel?" And it is a picture of none other than Moses Mike Johnson. Now, I want to say I don't know if this is true or not, but I do want to say that I think that men, alleged straight men, that talk about gay people all the time, I personally believe that that's very Freudian, and I personally believe that they're probably gay or bi-curious. And so it's important for us to dig into the psychology of Moses Mike Johnson and his wife, Kelly. Put up the next headline. This is from Vanity Fair. Mike Johnson's wife founded a company that equates being gay with bestiality and incest. Now, that's insane. That is insane. These people are fucking crazy. Okay? They are fucking crazy. Take away the Grindr thing. I don't know if that's true or not. I do know that during the Republican National Convention, Grindr crashed twice. But what married woman that's getting laid frequently by their husband thinks about gay sex and then equates it to bestiality and then thinks that they're a normal person?
Well, obviously these two, because they're nutballs. But interestingly enough, you have the covenant eyes, swapping porn and the kids. Everything is about staying away from sex, staying away from gay people. I'm with you. When you're talking about it all the time, you're trying to convince yourself. There's just no question about it. People secure in their sexuality, whether it's homosexuality, heterosexuality, bisexuality, they're not talking about it all the time.
You know what gay people don't sit around and talk about? Heterosexual sex.
Correct.
They're not consumed with it. They don't sit around and how can we end the straights? How can we end the heterosexuals? They don't give a shit. Healthy heterosexuals don't give a shit. Couldn't care less that people are gay. The only problem I have with the gays are these lesbians that I play pickleball and tennis with, and I'm just going to say they are better athletes. All right, let's move on to the next headline. Kelly Johnson. So Huffington Post reports that the wife of Moses Mike, Kelly Johnson, she runs a counseling business that in its opening documents compares being gay to, among other things, having sex with a family member or animal. Specifically, Onward Christian Counseling Service 2017 operating agreement states, quote, "We believe and the Bible teaches that any form of sexual immorality such as adultery, fornication, homosexuality, bisexual conduct, bestiality, incest, pornography, or any attempt to change one's sex or disagreement with one's biological sex is sinful and offensive to God." I mean, these people sound like they're a fucking blast. I mean, can you imagine? They're just wound up like a cheap clock. It is not normal. Nothing about these two is normal. They are the biggest freak shows in DC because they are religious fanatics that are consumed with gay people having gay sex.
Well, and this was the mission statement that apparently she put up on her counseling service website. Like, our mission statement is this. Like, she's obsessed. She's every bit as obsessed
I'm
as Mike
just going to
Johnson.
say, I would think, and this is just my own, I think she's not getting laid.
Or I think she might, in my opinion, if you're talking about it this much or this worried about it, sounds to me like she might be a lesbian.
You think she's a big old lessie?
I kind of
Each other's
so.
beards?
Right.
I either think she's not getting it because Moses Mike is busy on Grindr, or, like you said, she herself. And there's always this talk in liberal spaces that we can't talk about people that are allegedly in the closet. And this is where I disagree with this. I think that if the governor of Texas, who is in a wheelchair, tries to take away rights and recognition to other handicapped people, and he gets called Governor Hot Wheels, fucking good for that. This is fuck you politics. I think if there's a bunch of closeted, homosexual, obsessed, right-wing Christian fanatics in Congress or in the White House, and There's a lot of psychological, circumstantial evidence that seems to point to a Freudian case that these people are closet cases themselves. Tough titties, they're getting called out. Because let me tell you, the bravest people in this country are. The bravest people in this country are out of the closet homosexuals, especially those from red states, because it is brutal here. These churches and these the parents of gay people shame their own kids. So they are the bravest people in the United States of America. Next up, Moses Mike Johnson was appointed to be dean of a Christian law school. And the Christian law school wanted to teach biblical law, biblical worldview. Okay? So this is the Paul Pressler School of Law, and it would unashamedly embrace a biblical worldview. And so Moses Mike, again, he is appointed to be the dean of this whack job, nut job law school.
I'm a great legal scholar, but I went to law school, and there's no way that the Bible and the law can combine to educate somebody on how to operate in court, district courts, appellate courts. Like, they're not compatible. So this, obviously, the law school never came to fruition because A, it was stupid and it couldn't get accreditation, and B, there was alleged financial impropriety, which is a shock to no one.
Oh my God.
But this thing is nuts from the word go.
Let me ask you this, Pump. You grew up going to Sunday school. I didn't. But doesn't the Bible, like, give you instructions on how to treat your slave? Eye for an eye. Tells you to, like, there's incest.
Have sex with your dad. All that stuff.
Yeah, also, hey, try to kill your kid to prove to me how much you love me. JK, just kidding. I mean, it's kind of, it's really demented. And for me, I know that there's going to be a lot of people in the comment section, but there's a lot of parts of the Bible, if you're a completely secular person that wasn't indoctrinated into it, the way a Christian light person would view, Scientology or being a Mormon is the same way I view a lot of the passages in the Bible. I think, like, this is really demented, sick stuff. But speaking of demented and sick stuff, let's move on to Moses Mike. So Pressler, who was the namesake of this law school, was sued in a civil case that has since grown to include allegations of abuse by multiple men who say he sexually assaulted them, some when they were children. The matter, which is still pending in court, helped spark a broader reckoning by the Southern Baptist Convention over its handling of claims of sexual abuse. And this comes as no surprise to me because, being raised by an atheist, my mother always told me the bigger the Christian, the bigger the secrets. And this has always proven to be true in my entire life living in the Bible Belt. The loudest Christians that I ever heard, the people who recruited me the most to be in their church, were the most screwed up people that I knew. They had the most screwed up marriages. They have the most screwed up family units. And I'm not saying we're perfect over here, the Welches. I mean, I've had my fair share of problems, but I don't have this type of moral duplicity. And this is at the core of this evangelical stuff. They try to suppress sexual urges, which is insane because your body is meant from an evolutionary standpoint to perpetuate the species. So this thing that religion, especially these evangelical Christians and far-right Catholics, try to do is suppress this suppress this sexuality. And then all of this fuckery comes out of it. Look at the priests. Look at the Southern Baptists. Look at whack job Moses Mike and his wife that's never getting laid either by him or by the lesbian of her dreams. I mean, it just produces a lot of problems.
Well, it does. And what's so interesting to me, we have always sat on this show and said, the more you're screaming about gay and all that. So you have Mike Johnson and his wife. They're anti-gay, anti-gay, anti-gay. Allegations that he's on Grindr. Anti-gay, anti-gay. Studies under a pedophile. Apparently, by all accounts, this Paul Pressler was Mike Johnson's mentor. I mean, he was in deep with him. He studied under him. He believed in him. Turns out he's a pedophile. All of this is right on brand for everything we've ever said on this podcast.
Pumps, and he's living with right now Moses Mike is living with this evangelical grifter. I think we have to stop calling them evangelical preachers and start calling them evangelical grifters. He is living with an evangelical grifter in Washington, D.C., who is rumored to be a closet case. And then the condo that they live in together is owned by this man who is on his fourth marriage, whose ex-wife claims that, and this is during the divorce proceedings, that he made her watch gay porn, made her watch videos of him having gay sex with men. And it's this huge divorce in Nashville. And so this is who Moses Mike hangs out with. This is who the guy who wants to talk about Jesus and Donald Trump being, you know, some sort of prophet and God's vessel. This is the Speaker of the House of the United States of America. And I vacillate all the time. Like, what should we be sounding the alarm about more right now? Should we be sounding the alarm more about Elon Musk being a full-blown Nazi? Or that the Speaker of the House, that all of the Republicans voted for, is the biggest whack job in Washington, D.C.? I mean, in my opinion, Moses Mike Johnson is the biggest freak show in the United States of America. Marjorie Taylor Greene, Nancy Mace, Lauren Boebert, and all the Doge Micro Penis Committee, none of them come close to touching Moses Mike Johnson and how fucking crazy this man is.
Now, he's totally ill-prepared to be a leader because he has been taught all this crap his whole life.
He's a fanatic.
He's a fanatic. He has no empathy. He has no ability to think about poor people. And I just think it's interesting. He says he's this big Christian, but he only abides by the cruel parts of the Bible. He doesn't abide
But
by...
don't million Americans, isn't that why Trump's president?
Right.
Yeah.
No, I know. He's the leader of the, let's go with the cruel parts of the Bible and helping the sick, feeding the poor. We don't care about that. And it is just... I cannot wrap my head around how this man, who now, okay, so we have this huge viral sensation on TikTok. Right after, this was this week. Last week, he showed up in full-blown drag on one of the weekend shows. He's living with the guy. I mean, it's just unbelievable.
I'm telling you,
This is where
I
we
could
are.
do an episode every day on Moses Mike Johnson. And if you start back to, he had this adopted black son who now has completely disappeared from his life entirely, whom he monitored porn with. Like, again, that's sick in and of itself. That's so incestuous and weird that your adopted black son and you are monitoring each other's porn use. I think that is one of the creepier things. Then he takes his daughter to some purity ball and puts a wedding ring on her hand, saying, your virginity's mine until I pass it on to your husband. His wife is so obsessed with gay sex because clearly she's not getting any or the type that she wants. I think these people are an example of millions of Americans under them that believe the exact same thing. And everybody wants to talk about, how do we talk to MAGA? You see Gavin Newsom face planting, embarrassing himself, having Charlie Kirk and all these people on. One of the biggest problems in the United States of America is this Christian base. And as crazy as Mike Johnson is, you know this, there are millions and millions and millions of Americans that believe this exact same shit and that are equally as consumed with demonizing gay people, demonizing trans people. And here's a message that I want to give everybody, and this is what's so important right now. The reason the Democrats should never abandon trans rights is very simple. Because the minute we abandon trans rights, then they're going to keep moving the goalposts. And eventually it's going to get to where they're coming after everyone. Either everybody is equal or nobody is equal. So Gavin Newsom's faceplant and capitulation to the right over trans rights is a very dangerous precedent for anybody that truly believes in democracy and truly believes in equal rights, equal protections. It is a very dangerous precedent. And the obsession from MAGA over gay people and trans people, to me, is a big tell. And I think you've got a lot of men and women that are very bi-curious, and they hate that about themselves because they've been indoctrinated in these whack job churches to think that sex is dirty and that they should feel shame about it. And who gives a shit? If Kelly Johnson and Mike Johnson want to do a slap and tickle, if they want to be swingers, I don't give a shit. But I'm not the religious hypocrite.
Right. I don't want to get on and start slamming people and demeaning people and dehumanizing people that have different values and beliefs than I do.
It's dangerous. It's dangerous and it is anti-democratic. And that is why we sit here and defend the rights of everyone. And the messaging going on in the Democratic Party right now about, oh, we need to go to the center, it is a very dangerous precedent. When you start capitulating to fascists and you start capitulating to Nazis and you stop defending the rights of the most marginalized people in this country, you are every bit as bad as they are. And if you don't have, if Democrats don't have enough of a spine to say we stand up for everybody and we want equal rights under the law for every citizen of the United States, period, with zero nuance in that. If you don't do that, then you're just as bad as these fascists, in my opinion.
Well, and I think it goes to show, like, already under the Trump administration, in 10 states, all red states, they've made laws trying to ban gay marriage.
Yes, they're coming for it.
They're coming.
All right, please subscribe to.
There you have it. From the I've Had It podcast. And I want to know what y'all think about that. You know, because I hear quite often a lot of content creators, a lot of people, period. You know, I ain't going to just blame it on content creators. But they are obsessed with other people's sexuality. And they need to know. They need to know. And I'm going to put that even in a personal situation. I have a lot of people going, why don't you show yourself? Why take, well, not only have I, because I've been doing this a little while, not only have I shown my face before, this is not nothing new, but the fact of the matter is a lot of people are very uncomfortable because they don't see my face. And my thing is, that's a part of your distraction. To sit there and see what I'm looking at, or, I mean, what I look like, what I'm doing, looking at. These are all things that are distractive to you, that takes away from what I'm trying to say to you. I don't need that. Okay? Nor do I need to have to be a certain way or look a certain way so you can be satisfied. Because that's so far away from what I'm trying to say to you that, you know, it doesn't pay off for me to do that. So I choose not to, even though I have done it. Because if you go back and look at a lot of my old videos, you'll see me. But that's not what I'm on at this stage in my life. Okay, so I realize that if I can make love to your mind, if I can talk to your brain a little bit and your heart, and you don't have no distractions, the only thing you hearing is me talk. So with that being said, I feel like I have a better chance of keeping you engaged. Okay? So I know for a fact, and I've talked about it before, most people that are obsessed with other people's sex life are curious. They want to do it. They in the closet. They've had an experience. They want to have it again, and they just can't find the courage to do it. But there's something going on there. In my opinion, and as I said before, is I think sexuality is more undefined than a lot of y'all think. Okay? Of course, there are two anatomies, male and female, two genders, male and female. And I say three because there's a gray area of hermaphrodite or hermaphrodism. I think that's how you say it. However, that's not what we talking about here. We talking about people that are obsessed with people that they think are gay. Oh, and nobody does it like the black church. Nobody is more hypocritical than the black church. Okay? Director, white, choir director, the organ player, the singers. I mean, and you know it. And you don't have no problem because it make y'all choir sound good. So you want to use the talents and you want to use the um, showmanship and the flamboyancy and just the entertainment value of people that are a little different. But then you get up in the pulpit and talk about them. It's really weird. Really weird. That's why I know that's not something that we should be focused on. Not only does it take up such a small part of your time and your life, even when you're doing it, it's just that your mind shouldn't stay below the belly chakras, the navel chakras. All your thoughts shouldn't be up under there. Okay? You let it do what it do when it's time to do it, but you don't need to sit there and be obsessed with that. Anyway, I've said enough. I want to know what y'all think about that. Have you seen in your life that most people that are homophobic talk about gay all the time? This, that, and the third. Okay. I just want to know. And if you like what you hear, I want you to like and I want you to subscribe. And I also want you to share my channel. Okay? All right. I love y'all. And I'll see you in the next video.